Good evening. It is now 7:30 p.m. This is the Yardley Borough Council meeting of July 21st, 2026. I would like everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Those with hats, please remove them. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Manager Johnson, roll call, please.
Mr. Appelbaum,
I am here.
Ms. Howlett,
Present.
Ms. Siegel-Morris,
Present.
Ms. Scherer,
Present.
Mr. Goldstein,
Here.
Mr. Menzel, and Mr. Woodring.
Here.
Fantastic. Do we have any community announcements from the table? Oh, I'm sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, just before we get started, I just wanted to announce that Borough Council, they held basically an educational seminar on the right to know law under Section 707B of the Sunshine Act prior to the meeting this evening at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. And now, community announcements, any from the table? No announcements? Well,
Oh, yes, I have.
Oh.
Sorry. This Thursday, July 23rd at 6:30 p.m., Gather Place is having a free trivia night on American and Yardley Borough history, so please
excellent.
come on down.
Well, you know that I am a champ,
Okay.
right, Paula? Yes. That's a good answer. All right, thank you very much. That's good to know. So if you are a trivia fan, I would recommend going to the Gather Place is it Wednesday?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, thank you. Any community announcements from the public? Not hearing any. We can move on to public comment, but before we do, two things I like to do. Forgive me, I just need to find my paperwork here. This is the opportunity to address issues that are not on the agenda. So I just like to, and just be clear about decorum. And I know sometimes when the room is full and emotions may run high, we need to ensure that everyone feels safe and respected when they speak. So my responsibility as president is to protect every resident's right to be heard, and we have some guidelines for that. And without going into every detail, I'm going to ask that you just think about decorum. Try to keep your comments, as friendly as you can, and if I do interrupt you, it's not because I am trying to stifle your ability to speak. I just want to make sure that everyone can hear you and everyone feels respected. So with that said, I like to take this opportunity to speak myself. Sorry, but I'm going to. This is I didn't do it under the other heading because excuse me. Oh, okay. This is about 3 years ago. I'd just like us to take a minute to reflect about that tragic day on July 15th, 2023. This is when we had those horrible flash floods, and we lost 7 individuals, 5 adults and 2 children. I did write this up earlier in a post that I made, and basically we all talk about how these things affect us, that life is precious, but these incidents remind us that these are true things. They happen. And I do want us to take a minute to reflect about that day 3 years ago that we lost these people, and to be grateful for the life that we have, your family, your friends, and the people who make your world what it is. I'm asking you, not by law, but as your neighbor, don't waste your time on negativity. Put your energy into lifting the people around you up. Make their lives a little better in whatever ways you can. When you do that, I think you will never be disappointed, because when you help and lift others, you're paid in multiples. I'm going to read the names of those people, and during that time, I'd like you to just have a minute of silence. Those lost were Catherine Katie Saleh, Matilda Maddie Shields, Conrad Shields, Enzo DePiero, Linda DePiero, Yoko Love, and Susan Barnhart. All right, thank you very much for your indulgence, and hope that we never have to suffer that type of tragedy again. With that said, is there anyone who has public comment? Okay, we have Dawn.
Is the podium hooked up?
It's hooked up and live, correct?
Oh, good. Okay, I just would like to say that you just announced that you had a right to know educational thing before the meeting. You were in violation of the right to know law by not notifying the public of that. So apparently you need more of those seminars. In fact, I'm going to be talking about right to knows, and I might need an extra minute.
3 minutes, thank you.
No, you allowed Sue Taylor to talk for 20 minutes during public comment.
3 minutes, thank you.
Explain to him what viewpoint discrimination is. You can gavel all you want.
I just was
Council-
moving my gavel.
Borough Council has adopted guidelines and a policy as far as public comment's concerned. That limits each public comment to 3 minutes, so we just ask that you keep it to 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm starting now. Concerned residents have been submitting dozens of right-to-know requests as a method to provide oversight and accountability of Yardley Borough finances, management, and code enforcement. We have just gotten started and already discovered that hundreds of thousands of dollars of Yardley Borough taxpayer monies is being mismanaged every year. We have also discovered systemic corruption, especially in building and zoning, which is also costing the borough tens of thousands of dollars a year in lost revenues. This goes beyond the selective code enforcement that's been going on for years. Now we have entire construction companies building whatever they want, including demolishing historic buildings and illegally replacing them with unsafe buildings that don't meet the basic UCC codes. The architectural character of entire streets are being destroyed by the lack of zoning and building enforcement. Residents who have lived here their entire lives, who raise their children here, have no recourse when a developer or builder demolishes their neighboring house just to rebuild an illegal building without going through the required zoning hearing board. The quality of life in entire streets in almost every neighborhood in the historic district are being destroyed with non-compliant buildings, signs, paving with disregard for impervious surface and illegal parking lots. Obvious violations are not being enforced. In fact, the building and zoning officers just sign off on everything, often without even inspecting. It all comes down to mismanagement by manager Paula Johnson, who is supposed to be overseeing the budget and supervising zoning and building. This woman is destroying Yardley Borough both financially and one house at a time for years with her cronyism and nepotism. That is why she is continually complaining about the right to know request and claiming that it is being done just to waste her time and everyone else's time. She actually put that in writing. The reason Paula Johnson is complaining is because the RTKs are exposing the corruption and financial mismanagement. The reason the RTKs cost so much is that manager Johnson refuses to turn over the records, and then Yardley Borough has to hire attorneys to fight the appeals. Concerned residents are volunteering a considerable amount of their time to provide the oversight. We are providing the oversight that council should be doing. In fact, council prioritizes business owners over the residents who actually live here and pay taxes. We are not going to stop submitting RTKs until every single penny is accounted for and every single vendor, contractor, employee, building and zoning official, Yardley Borough commissions and boards are reviewed. Even at this early stage in the review, it is obvious that Yardley Borough needs to bring in an external forensic accountant and immediately fire Manager Johnson because she does any more irreparable damage to the town. Frankly, the Attorney General needs to be contacted with the level of corruption in every aspect of the management of Yardley Borough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Do you mind me asking who the we?
I'm sorry, I'll run this. You have a question?
Yes.
But I would, do you leave it?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you mind me asking who the we is you're referencing? You kept saying we
There
have discovered.
are residents on Penn Valley, on West College, on other streets too, that, you know, you can ask the manager. She has her whiteboard downstairs.
So you're all working together for these, right?
Well, we're trying to literally review all the finances and especially the building and zoning. There's been an incredible amount of construction that where permits weren't pulled, where variances were supposed to be obtained and weren't. So again, just trying to put together a report to, you know, help you guys with this.
I was just curious about the we.
Thank you. Okay, any other public comment? Paige, Peters, thank you. Tell us, if you live in the neighborhood?
Yeah, hi. My name is Paige Peters, and I'm a borough resident. I'm here this evening because I have a concern that I want to share with the other residents of the borough. Pennsylvania has right to know law as an important tool for public access to records. I support transparency. My concern is the scale and frequency of the right to know requests being submitted to the borough. It has come to my attention through my own right to know request that 2 individuals are responsible for the vast majority of the submissions to the borough. Since June of 2025, these 2 individuals have submitted more than 80% of the right to know requests submitted to the borough. Also, since mid-June of this year, the average number of right to know requests submitted is 14 per week. Yet the number of submissions by other entity totals only 16 for the entire year to date. The 2026 borough budget for processing right to know forms is $8,000 for the entire year. As of last week, the expenses incurred to address these requests has approached $25,000. If the current rate of submission continues through the remainder of the year, one could estimate that the total cost of processing right to know requests for the borough will be at least $50,000 for the year. This represents a budget overage of at least $42,000. That's $42,000 or more of Yardley Borough taxpayer dollars being used to address the requests for information from 2 individuals. That's also $42,000 that could be used to pay for things like maintenance, trash collectors, and supporting our police force. As you may have noticed, I've chosen not to identify these 2 individuals by name because that would serve no purpose. Instead, if the information provided to these individuals shows any issues of concern, I'm asking that they come forward with those concerns so that they can be addressed in a more productive manner. If not, I am sincerely asking them to stop straining borough resources and squandering taxpayer dollars to continue to submit excessive numbers of right-to-know requests. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any other? Yes, please come up to the podium, tell us who you are, and if you're a borough resident or not. And you have 3 minutes.
My name is Larissa Tolofanova. I am a Yardley Borough resident. I am appalled at the language that is used by Dawn at this meeting. I'm appalled. How dare you calling people words that you have no evidence, you have no proof to call them cronies? No, you do not.
We're not going to have a
These are
discussion
all words.
between
Okay.
individuals.
Sorry.
Address me, please.
I believe, since we are here to maintain the respectful dialogue, nobody calls each other, must not call each other words and definitions as cronies, corruptors, or I just can't even list all those words. I am appalled that people use those words at the meetings of this level. I understand we all have difference in opinion, and that's fine. I respect that. But let's be respectful to each other and not use the words and definitions to people who may not be guilty. Guilty only if they are proven to be guilty. So please, I would like us to be respectful and not call. I do not want to hear those definitions. I'm appalled, and I am speaking strongly against this. And I do not support the violence that comes from calling people names. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Is there any other public comment? Okay, I can't see. Was that Lisa? No? Oh, who's this man in the back? That's okay. I'd love to hear from you. Come up.
I don't know if any of these have been answered in the 20 minutes since the start, but on the earned income tax,
Wait a minute, it's on the agenda, I believe.
it's on the agenda later?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say about anything relevant to the previous speakers? No? No. Okay. Mr. Huffel. You have 3 minutes, thank you.
My comment is concerning the new house going up at 21 Cadwalader Court. I want to share a concerning situation regarding construction happening right next door to me and the lack of oversight from our borough manager, Paula Johnson. If you think you saw an old 1.5-story Cape Cod house demolished on Cadwalader Court and replaced by a much larger brand-new house that looks like a large box, you are not imagining it. According to the few permits issued by Yardley Borough, the only work being done on this property was a second-story alteration and addition of a bathroom. The original permit was later modified to state the house had to be reframed because of termite damage. Even though 90% of the old house was demolished, I was told a demolition permit was not required. Even though a much larger house was built that is higher than the old house and outside the original footprint, no zoning hearing or variances were required. There are no certificates for liability insurance or workman's comp insurance for the work being done on this property. Paula Johnson told me they were not required. There is not even an application to apply for permits on file. When I asked Paula Johnson why a massive new house is being built without permits, she told me the permits were in progress. Since when can you start building a house before permits are actually issued? The construction has been highly disruptive. There was one day the construction crews were jackhammering almost the entire day inside the basement. I can feel the vibrations from this inside my house as I am right next door. The borough issued a temporary stop work order, but on June 4th, the crews started jackhammering again. I actually had to call the police to get the borough to enforce their own rules. Instead of sending a code inspector, Paul invited me to an informal meeting on site with the owner. I declined because building and zoning violations need official enforcement, not casual chats. Paula then emailed me claiming no jackhammering happened and that the contractors were compliant. Interestingly, the very next day, Paula forwarded me an email from the Yardley Borough building official, Jeff Mahan, that tells a different story. She highlighted in yellow a specific section that she thought was directed at me, but it was actually a warning directed to her. The email stated, in part, please be advised there are no trespassing signs on the surrounding fence, and the owner and BCO have asked you not to disregard these signs. It has been noticed that you have been seen inside the construction site without permission. You are legally not allowed on there without the permission of the owner. On that day, I declined her invitation to an informal meeting on site. I observed Paula Johnson trespassing at 21 Cadwalader at approximately 12 p.m. from my upstairs window. I watched her walk from the direction of Buttonwood Park with a clipboard. After briefly speaking with a worker, she entered the active construction site without permission. She was not wearing required
15
hard hats
seconds.
or safety gear, violating active site protocols. This behavior raises serious concerns regarding Manager Johnson's ability to safely and effectively supervise local building and zoning operations. I want this to be noted for the official record.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else that has a public comment to make? Going once? Oh, Mr. Stump? By the way, just to update you, the actual forecast for the year on the right-to-know request will be over $60,000 if it continues. Thank you. Just wanted to.
But it'll save.
You're out of order. Out of order.
It will save.
You're out of order.
Thousands of dollars.
You're in order. Go.
Hi, Jared Stump, Yardley Borough resident. I'll just say one thing that came to mind on some of the previous comments that were made. I think sometimes, and I noticed this when I was on council as well, is that sometimes things that are opinion are asserted as fact. Like, for example, the sentence, after Manager Johnson spoke to a worker, she entered the property without permission. Well, maybe she received permission when she spoke to the worker. There's no way you can know that when you're observing from your upstairs window. No further comment on that. What I'm actually here for this evening is, it's related to 21 Cadwalader, as I live right up the street. I was deeply saddened about a month ago whenever myself and the next door neighbor on the other side found out that they were going to cut down all of the trees on the property. They actually ended up pretty much clear cutting the entire lot. A couple of the trees on the side were in really, really bad shape and needed to go, but there was a 75-year-old maple tree that provided shade for the whole street and really shaped the character of the neighborhood in a lot of ways that was taken down. And the developer told one of my friends who lives next door that the tree was dead. It's odd to call a tree dead that's completely covered in leaves. Dead trees don't have green leaves in June, and they don't have gold leaves in the fall. This got me looking at our ordinances throughout the borough, and I realized that Yardley Borough doesn't have what some other municipalities near us have. Like, for example, Lower Makefield has an ordinance on the books, and I'm saying it from memory, so this may not be the exact wording, but it's large trees that provide more value than to just one property, such as something that's close to the street like that the value of the tree extends beyond just the property line, or it shapes the character of the neighborhood, particularly ones that are very, very old. There is a process that has to be gone through. You can't just get a chainsaw and cut them down. And as my 4-year-old daughter asked me when I came home from work that day, she said, "Daddy, are you going to get them to put the tree back?" And I said, "No, honey, I'm sorry. We can't put the tree back once they've been cut down. It takes 75 years to grow." And she said, "Oh, I guess they cut it down with scissors then." In fact, even last night, it's been a month from now, we were going around talking to neighbors, and she said, "Daddy, are we going to make them put the tree back now?" And I said, "Honey, unfortunately, we can't do that. Once trees are cut down, they're cut down." And as somebody who grew up in new developments that were built in cornfields and never really got to experience old growth trees for really much of my life, I didn't realize how much of a tree hugger I was until I moved to Yardley Borough. And so what I would like to ask of council is, I would like us to look at ordinances of other municipalities and maybe look at doing something to protect trees in residential districts. We do have a 1982 shade tree ordinance that is 43 years old, and it actually allows that if a tree is diseased or posing a hazard and people refuse to take it down, the borough can mandate it. And also street trees in commercial districts are protected, but there's no protections just in general throughout the borough. And so I would like to ask if there's somebody on council that would like to look at this, I'd like to work with somebody on the council.
Thank you. You
on
need to
this.
wrap it up because your time
Yes,
is
sir.
coming up, but we will discuss that afterwards. Thank you very much
you.
for your comments. And send my apologies to, yeah, boy, oh boy. Last chance for public comment, going once, twice, 3 times. Thank you. Consideration of consent agenda dated July 21st, 2026. We have 4 items. A is approval of minutes dated June 16th, 2026. B is the return of unused FEMA funds. C, certificate of appropriateness, 26-13 for a roof at 156 South Main Street. And D, certificate of appropriateness, 26-14, a sign at 35 South Main Street. Does anyone wish for me to pull any of those out separately? Not hearing that. Could I have a motion to pass this consent agenda?
So moved.
So moved, and a second? Okay, so motion made by Councilwoman Siegel Morris and seconded by Councilwoman Scherer. Discussion? Anyone? No? Okay, public? No? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. No? And abstentions? Not hearing any? I believe that is unanimous. Thank you. Finance report. Paula, sorry, I'm losing my mind.
Asking for consensus for the finance report dated June 17th to July 21st. It's a long span of dates because of no council meeting in the beginning of July.
Everyone
moved?
Well, we're just doing a consensus.
Oh, sorry.
And looks like if I don't hear anything, or you just say, that would be consensus. So we have a consensus. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Police chief's report. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. President. For the month of June, Yardley Borough Police Department answered 895 calls for service. Of those 895, 411 of those were proactive premise checks done by the agency. We issued 4 parking tickets. We conducted 191 traffic stops. We issued 71 traffic citations for violations. We also issued 3 other citations, non-traffics. And we investigated 4 accidents. We had 0 DUIs for the month, which is great and phenomenal. And we had 1 other arrest. We also had 5 instances where a co-responder was involved. And that concludes my report.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Manager's report.
The redo of our comprehensive plan is progressing nicely. Be on the lookout for a resident survey that we expect to hit the houses sometime in September. It's your opportunity to say what direction you'd like to see the borough going in. Real estate transfer tax for the month of June was $12,431.30. Happy to report Phase 3 is pretty much complete for the sidewalks, except for some minimal punch list items. Everything is looking great down there. All the residents are happy. We were even able to get a gas install for a resident in that area before it got paved. If not, we would have had to dig up the road again. So we had that done in 1 day as opposed to 4 to 6 weeks to get this done. Hot topic tonight, right to knows. Since May 15th of this year, we've received 107. In June alone, we had 49. In July so far, we had 54. Zoning and building, there's an uptick for those as well. We had 13 zoning permits. Building permits, we had 19 in June, and so far in July, we have 13. No zoning hearing boards in June or July.
Andrew Johnson.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I may have misheard. Did you say since May we've had nearly, or maybe exactly, 200 right-to-know requests?
107.
Oh, I see. But what's the 49 and 54 then?
So 49 was just June alone, and then 54 so far in July.
Oh, okay.
So since May 15th.
It's been 107. And before that was about 110 since the beginning of the year?
Yes.
So 110?
No, 110 since the beginning of the year in total. And
Until-
it does cost the borough a lot. Last year, in 2025, our right-to-know solicitor was just over $5,000. In '26 so far, and this was just billed for May 29th, that was almost $15,000. We have another $15,000 bill coming in any day now, and that would be from June into part of July. And it's not just the solicitors, it's the borough team as well. Our right-to-know assistant spent approximately 71 and a half hours of her time just working on right-to-knows. If you calculate it out, what she makes, it's just over $1,000 that goes towards her. Our financial assistant, who usually doesn't work on right-to-knows but has been helping us tremendously since we've had this uptick, and about 74 hours of Patty's time went into right-to-knows, and this was just June 22nd to July 10th. And at that time, we also closed the office doors. If somebody came to the door, absolutely, we got up and we helped them out, but we just solely worked on right-to-knows. Of Patty's time, 74 hours would be about $2,700, and mine alone from June 22nd till July 10th. Before this, we weren't keeping track of how much time was spent on these right-to-knows. About 115 of my hours went solely to right-to-knows, and that equates to just over $5,000. So it's not just the solicitor, it's our time, it's time taken away from other projects that we could be working on. And if there's corruption and cronyism, please bring it and show us. And by the way, 21 Cadwalder, I was with the property owner. Thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate your hard work and everyone's hard work. All right, moving on. Sorry. Mr. Engineer.
Thank you. We've issued our engineer's report. Are there any questions?
Was there a question? I'm sorry, I'm trying to look at Jonathan. Did you have a question on the?
Pat and I talked about it earlier.
did, so you're okay.
Phase one cost and the, yeah.
All right, was there anything that anyone wanted explained, or did you have anything you wanted to explain, or at least just give us the last, like a high-level recap?
Sure.
Of the Main Street and anything else?
Yeah, just as Manager Johnson mentioned, as we finished the pavement last week and we're working on, you could say punch list items. We'll be scheduling a meeting with PennDOT to go through and walk the site again, as we do have a permit with PennDOT for this project. So we're getting closer to the end, but we're moving the project forward. Regarding the police department roof, that project is out on bid right now, and our hope is to open the bids and be able to present the results to council at our next council meeting in August. Additionally, we rebid 119 South Bell. That's the other elevation project. That's currently out on Penn bid as well, and we hope to bring those results to council next in the August meeting as well.
If the bids are successful when you receive them, how long do you think the turnaround might be?
What we would be looking for the police department roof, we would be looking to try to fast track our contracts with the contractor. And so hopefully we could get into a September, October construction. You know, if we're opening, you could say mid-late, August, we're sitting into September until October. We have it as a 30-day construction window right now for the police department roof. And for 119 South Bell, that's a 120-day construction calendar as well.
Okay, well, Chief, you heard it here first. All right, thank you. Oh, is there a question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so For the MS4 compliance, just curious if there's been any like stormwater identification of future projects that we should have on our horizon through that work?
Right now, the MS4 system, the DEP is working on updating their MS4 requirements. It's in draft form right now. There are some municipalities, the borough has a general permit. You could say some of the larger municipalities around us, Lower Makefield and Middletown, they have pollution reduction plans. The DEP is starting to look at more changing the pollution reduction to more of a volume reduction. And, you know, there are some questions that we had to, and we presented those to DEP, but it's in draft form, so they don't want to come back and respond regarding Yardley, because right now we don't have a pollution reduction plan. The pollution reduction plan pretty much makes the boroughs, the municipalities start working on adding stormwater management to their borough, you know, for those projects. A lot of our, you know, you could go and seek for grants for those, but one issue within Yardley is we don't have a lot of public space either to put stormwater management. So the more we know about the updated regulations, we'll share those with council as well.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, I do. As far as the parking lot at North Main Street and the University Drive, do we have like any, it's out to bid, it looks like.
Yeah, if you would
Along-
like, we could, that's, the parking lot is C on our agenda. And if you would like, we could jump right into the parking lot. We skip over A and B and we could talk about it, if you would like.
Sure. If that's
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
So within the council packet, we did open up the bids for this project. We did receive 2 bids for it. And the bids range from $150,300 up to $201,950.73. For this project, coordinating with the Public Works Committee as well as Manager Johnson, our original grant was to really just to replace a portion of that was a portion that was not affected previously. You can see the patches that are there. Further coordination, the patch was more of a temporary fix potentially, and there is what we, you know, coordinating, we looked at it and we decided to extend and replace the entire length from the inlet within North Main Street, and also replace the head wall. As you can see, some of the rock that's right in the open channel before you get to the corner of the gristmill building. So we're going to replace that as well, the head wall right in that location, and then clean out that area, the open channel, as well as clean out from the Lake Afton pipe to the new inlet, to the inlet that's within the North Main Street. So we did submit for a PennDOT utility HOP permit for the work within the PennDOT right-of-way. We're still waiting to hear back from that permit. But we did open up the bids. We received the 2 bids. As I've spoken with Manager Johnson and Councilperson Woodring, we had approximately, let me just go back to my notes. The scope was expanded. We had around, you could say, let's just say $56,000 budgeted from a construction cost under our grant. As you heard me talk about, it's $150,000. So there's really the increase of costs that we've experienced in the additional scope. We're up to $150,000.
We don't have that.
Well, what we do have is we do have a grant.
Okay.
And our grant is for the construction of our grant cost is, there's $208,000 $582.50 in our grant for construction. That includes the permitted 5% contingency. If we eliminated the 5% contingency between the two projects, for the total, we have $198,650. Okay? So what we could do is either pay the overage and move forward with phase two. We could go back and we could rescope. You know, Manager Johnson and I will have a conversation with the grant rep and maybe eliminate University Drive. You know, so there's a couple options, or we could finish our permitting, finish up our design, and we could then wait until there's funds available for it too. But what we presented here right now is there is grant money available to it. If we use it for now, it's just less for the University Drive and then additional funds out of the borough's capital improvement.
So more commentary on that. It was my first exposure to being, 4 months in here where, to solve the problem so that it doesn't, happen again.
Yeah.
There's some incremental dollars there, but I think just patching this part that we can see that's damaged right now is kicking the can and is part and parcel of the overall revenue, situation that we're in. And so I think it's a more permanent solution that's mitigating risk in the future as opposed to solving the immediate thing that's causing the acute issue right now.
Yeah. And what's going to be, right now, you could say more of like an arch culvert that's there. And there's some pictures that show like a linear crack that's closer to the swale area. And as we've experienced over time, as there was the collapse that was closer to the Continental within the parking field that was replaced, and then another hole opened up right next door to where that area was, and then we have the area within the driveway area that failed as well. But what we are doing is replacing that arch with a 3-foot diameter concrete pipe.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All good? Okay. You have anything else, Mr. Engineer?
Well, I mean, if we wanted to talk and make a decision on the award,
I think we should, yeah, right?
and then we can move on to the other two items?
So I would make that motion. I would make the motion to award the bid for North Main Street and University Drive for Phase 1 in the amount of $150,300 to Passerini and Sons.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Woodring and a second by Mr. Menzel.
So we could approve this motion and then see whether, talk with the grantor that we have, PA Small Water, and see whether they'll cover it, and then kind of regroup if not, and see how we want to either pay for it with our own funds or wait.
Regarding University Drive, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for Main Street, can we talk to them about using more of that 208,000 than we anticipated for Phase 1?
Mm-hmm.
If we approve, okay.
Okay, other comments, questions? Public questions, comments? Dawn?
I just have a lot of questions because when you start talking about the report, the council gets the report in your packet, but then we don't know what you're talking about until, I guess, someone asked you to expand on it. So I just had some questions about a number of the projects. I've noticed that there's a bidding process. So who writes the RFPs and who handles the bidding? Does that happen at your office? Does it happen with the manager? I'm just a little confused at what the roles are.
Yeah, we coordinate with Manager Johnson regarding you could say the advertisement. And what we do is we utilize a online system called PenBid that's available for those contractors that are interested in work. They could go in there and bid on it. So we do go through that as part of, as it's an engineering project. We assist with answering questions by the contractor. We coordinate if there is a pre-bid meeting to discuss those, and then we do open those bids as well, and then we present you could say the bid tabulations to Manager Johnson, to the borough, and then we'll go through that process and coordinate with Manager Johnson and the Public Works Department, on the project, and then present our recommendation to the borough.
So just to clarify, your engineering firm is doing reviewing all these bids. Is the manager in your office when these people are asking questions, the different bidders? I mean, how much is Manager Johnson involved in this? Because it really sounds like it's a lot going on your end.
The questions we do have, within our scope of work that we, present to council is we do answer the questions that are engineering related. If there are other questions, we coordinate with Manager Johnson. So and the borough solicitor as well for other questions that may be necessary.
So I saw in one of the public notices that the bidding is held at your offices. Is that correct? Like when there's
The bid opening, yes.
bid openings held,
Yes.
does Manager Johnson attend that?
Yes, Manager Johnson has attended those. We've also had them via Teams as well. So they are publicly open. If we don't have it as frequent, but we've have people that do come to our office and witness us opening the bids and reading the bids aloud.
Okay, and specifically with the project for that, I guess you said the Continental parking lot and that area, why are the businesses not contributing to those? I don't understand. Are they contributing at all, or is it Yardley Borough's responsibility to make sure that their parking lot's okay? Isn't that private property?
The storm sewer that's within the parking lot is the borough's responsibility.
I would request that was the last question. We're heading towards 4 minutes. I appreciate your questions and responses. Okay. Was there any other questions from the public? If not, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay.
1 second, I'm sorry. Could you please come up, and we're sort of out of order, but I'll take it.
Moved on from engineering, so I just had a question
We're not done with engineering.
What's that? Can I ask?
Is it referring to what?
It is referring to one of the agenda items, yes.
No, I'm talking about engineering. We're still in the engineering report.
This is a question about one of the agenda subpoints on the engineer's report.
Okay, that's fine. Thank
Okay.
you.
Jared Stump, Yardley Borough resident. Mr. Foley, I just had a question about the punch list. So when the trail of the Mary Yardley Bridge that goes through the woods there and connects to the Main Street sidewalk. So I've noticed where, the other front yards are going up to the sidewalk, like the fill is all even, and there's a pretty big gap there that kind of creates a little bit of a trip hazard. And I'm just wondering if that's one of the items on the punch list.
We are addressing the path as we've and we just spoke with the adjacent resident as well. So we are going to be regrading the path up to the sidewalk in that area.
That's wonderful to hear. Thank you so much. And my apologies for my question being slightly out of order.
Sorry. I had to do my Wizard of Oz impression. Okay, Mr. Engineer, do you have anything else?
Sure. We could jump back to A, what's really the change of scope, number 2, for North Main Street Sidewalk Project. Within the council's packet, this is for additional engineering time associated with the North Main Street Sidewalk Project. We wrote the proposal, this change of scope, as this project has gone on substantially longer. The project should be done within 3 months. We're sitting on month 13 right now for construction. With that, we had the gas main relocation, we had water main, unknown water relocations, and various other coordination items. So we're just requesting council's approval on additional engineering services for your consideration.
I would love to hear from Public Works if you have any comments.
No additional comments in addition to that, right? I mean, I think the way Pat laid it out is reasonable, given some of the hiccups towards the end, so no comments incremental to that, no.
Martha?
Yeah, I agree. This is, we thought potentially this project would go over, which is one of the reasons we did seek a line of credit, so
Okay.
it has happened.
Wait, what has happened, sorry?
We have gone over.
Oh, yes, okay, I got you. All right, any other questions from the table? No? Okay, so you need a motion then? So would someone,
May I ask a question about the contract?
can I get a motion first and then we can get questions? So who would like to make that motion?
Sure, I'll make it. I make a motion to accept change of scope number 2 for North Main Street Sidewalk Project Phase 3.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion made by Councilwoman Howlett, and was that you, Mr. Woodring? A second. Is there any discussion from the table? From the public? You start?
Yes. Payne Borough resident. Just wondering on the RFPs, when you put out the scope, do you tie the contractors down to specific times and conditions, and are there penalties attached to those contracts if the contractor does not perform? And is there a bonding requirement linked to those damages?
There are penalties. However, also the contractor could state that the extensions were not their issue as well due to the utilities. So the contractor has been coordinating with the borough and moving the project along. But the utility relocations, have really lengthened that duration too. But there are other penalties that could be, but they've been moving forward, as weather permitting and
Generally,
as things
on
go.
contracts issued by the borough,
Yeah.
you have damages and clauses in the contracts.
There are.
Have we ever instituted damages on any of those contracts?
Threatened it, but we've never had to go that
No,
far.
yeah. No, we haven't.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, we have discussed them a lot with various other contractors to get the project complete. So it is, it's a tool there, but we have not, instituted for projects.
Okay.
We also do negotiate down their invoices very frequently.
As an example, we've held back payment at one point on one. But, okay, thank you for your question. So, any other comments from the public? Not hearing any. I will ask all those in favor.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? None. Passes unanimously. thank you.
The last item on our agenda, underneath the engineer's report, is the consideration of the FEMA-funded 35 Brown Street payment certificate number 1. The contractor submitted payment certificate number 1, and RVE recommends the payment certificate number 1 in the amount of $46,502.50 to Caddick Construction Company Incorporated. There is a 5% retainage on this, so the amount of $2,447.50 is being held.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone entertain a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to accept payment certificate number 1 for FEMA-funded Project 35 Brown Street elevation.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion made by Councilwoman Hallett and a second by Councilman Woodring. Any discussion from the table?
One thing I would like to just add on this is, partially, funded with FEMA, as well as the homeowners have responsibilities as well.
Okay. Comments from the public? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Abstentions? It passes unanimously. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, and is there-
That concludes my report.
well, that was a great report. Thank you very much. So we are, sorry, I have to find my place again. It is your turn, Mr. Solicitor.
No report this evening, thank you.
That's disappointing. Mayor?
No report, Mr. President.
Okay. This is council persons' reports. Councilwoman Siegel-Mars?
No report this evening.
Mr. Woodring?
Sure, a couple things. We had talked a little bit about university. I think the project plan for that, right, Mr. Fuller, we just received, or Paula, you just sent that, so we need to review that, and that's sort of in, short order. We talked, I think, in a decent amount last time about Judy's Garden. We've done some follow-up there. There's some complications around the grading, potential tree removal. I think Mr. Stump brought that up. So I think there's an ongoing question of how natural versus procured we want this to be. Also complicating it is the original idea was to kind of self-fund it in order to keep it moving quickly. But I think as we start to think about, does it need trees, do we need to grade, et cetera, that self-funding idea is less feasible or practical. So we'll address this at the upcoming 8/18 Public Works meeting. On the Yardley Trailhead front, Martha did apply for the grant for the bike repair station via the D&L Trail Amenities Grant. I believe that was last week, Martha, sound right? Mm-hmm. So that is moving along. Paul had talked about the comprehensive plan. I think that workshop was last Monday. Mm-hmm. So that keeps moving here over the course of the rest of the summer and the fall. And Mr. Follet did send you a note for both Dolington and Arla. Proposals are still pending on those. I think we need to get those sort of in some sense of those so we can get the grant applications moving there. So just wanted to put that on your radar. And then on the Planning Commission, the concept of land development is a hot topic, and lots of chatter about how this is currently being defined and interpreted, and how that then governs various issues as it relates to zoning. So I anticipate that being a pending agenda item coming out of the Planning Commission and onto the agenda here at some point.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Anything else, or are you concluded?
That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Hallett.
Budget requests have gone out to all the department and commission heads, so we will be working in the coming months to assemble our 2027 budget. And just a reminder that we do have quarterly audits that are available on the financial information section of the website, where an auditor does track all the money that the borough spends and ensures that it's used appropriately.
That's interesting. Are we allowed to ask who the auditor is?
I forgot his name. What's his name?
Kevin Jensen, Bieber.
And they're accredited and really real auditors?
Real auditors, yeah.
So they know what they're doing?
They do.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Goldstein?
Paul and I are working on a couple of projects that we'd like to introduce at next month's agenda.
And do you want to, are you teasing us, or would you like to tell us a little bit more?
Yes.
Oh, you are
teasing
teasing
it.
us?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow, okay, well, that's also disappointing.
Just say we briefly spoke with Andrew, get some guidance and direction on it, but yes, we do want to at least put it, one or two of the items on the agenda for next month.
We like the element of surprise in our
We are looking forward to next month. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on. Councilwoman Scherer?
No report this evening.
Okay. Mr. Menzel?
Holding the surprise, keeping the show alive.
I had a feeling. Okay. All right, then, moving on, we have a discussion item. I am going to guess that Councilwoman Hallett will be leading this, is that correct? It is the discussion of earned income tax, or by its acronym, EIT. Take it away, no more surprises.
Okay, this really is a discussion just as an opportunity for more public comment. I imagine a few people are here specifically for that. The main presentation of why the borough is considering this was made on at the May 5th meeting, and you can go to minute 45 if you'd like to see that presentation. We also have a long-form frequently asked questions document, as well as a one-page summary of why the borough is considering an earned income tax, also posted on the website.
Okay, and do you have anything else?
No,
that was a pretty short discussion, I must say.
Yeah, this is really an opportunity for residents to get.
I'm just joshing you. Okay, thank you. I guess we'll move on to other business.
Well, you gotta ask.
Oh, I am so sorry. Was there any comments from the table? Are there any comments from the, yes, sir, come right up.
Payne, Borough resident. I appreciate the spreadsheet here that was on the FAQs. One of the things I think that the borough residents really deserve is more of a finer breakdown of how you get to these figures. We see the $288,000, which is what would be income from, what is it, the excuse me, from the 588 residents paid to other Pennsylvania municipalities. I think we also deserve how the rest is made up from, whether it's for borough residents and so forth. I would also like to see what would happen in the instance of Laura Makefield and Bristol also imposing an EIT, and how that would affect the revenue, the gross revenue. Also, the figure here, which is given as 800,000 or 1.6, depending on the percentage, is that a gross figure? Is that a net? Does that include the costs for Keystone and any other costs that are there, or is this just a gross? So I think the borough.
Would you like answers to that first before you continue?
No, I think
Okay.
what I'm looking for is a spreadsheet that shows this information, and I think the borough residents deserve that.
Of course.
Okay. The other thing is, once we get that, obviously the borough residents can have a closer look and see if it's really a value added in some way at all. The other thing, assuming it is valid and it goes through and so forth, there's an awful lot of, what is it, and over $700,000, and I see the anticipated use and so forth. I have two comments. Pedestrian sidewalks. I really, really object to some people's pet projects of putting in sidewalks in places where people have bought the houses prior to the sidewalks going in, then having their sidewalks and voting for the sidewalks, and then having a nice bump in their property prices, which isn't reflected in their taxes. If they want a sidewalk, buy a house with a sidewalk. Don't put the cost of the sidewalks on the borough residents. My last point is, if this goes through, then let's get rid of the poll tax, the occupation tax. It brings in a small amount of money, and if you're going to get this amount of money in, get rid of it. It's just a burden, unnecessary paperwork. Those are my comments. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Can I respond?
Of course, you may.
So I will endeavor to get the breakdown for you and clarify the gross versus net from Keystone on those figures by the next meeting. And it is anticipated that if this does pass, we would do away with occupational and per capita
That wasn't
tax.
listed here.
We certainly discussed it on May 5th, and I believe it is listed somewhere in the FAQs, but
Somewhere. Okay, fair enough. But it's not for me, it's for the borough residents. I think they need a clearer picture.
okay, well, that's why we'll talk about it at the next meeting when I'm able to answer your questions better.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Peters? 3 minutes.
So I'm Craig Peters, a borough resident. As I understand it, we have no room to increase our mill rate on the property tax, right? Is that true?
Generally speaking.
Okay, generally, right? Without doing a court thing. Okay. We could try and maybe tax the businesses a lot more and have them flee town. That's an option, but we're not going to do that. The EIT, as I understand it, is really the only feasible, long-term, sustainable financial option we have. That's a comment. You don't have to respond to it. I'm concerned that the population here seems to be not understanding that. We have expenses. I hear that we're spending $50,000, $60,000 to have people do right-to-know things. Okay, I look at that. I look at some of these contracts that you guys are trying to get in place for the public works. It's not adding up to me. This is a no-brainer. Why is this a topic for people? I don't understand it. Right? One final question. Earned income does not include Social Security benefits. I'm a retiree.
Correct.
I pay federal tax on Social Security benefits. I also pay federal tax on my pension income. Why doesn't the EIT include that?
It's Pennsylvania state's definition of earned income tax that we operate on. It's not something designed by the borough, so.
Could we get a variance on that? Because how many retired people are in town? That's a huge deal. But
It's a General Assembly would have to change the law.
okay, I mean, there's only so much money around. We need a revenue source. I mean, the chief needs his roof fixed. I mean, what the heck?
He's dealt with it for 20 years.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
true.
rain a little
Still, it's
bit
not
more
fair.
on him.
Come on, we need revenue. We need revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah, just with respect to the business tax, I think it was 1988, Pennsylvania passed a law that said no new business privilege taxes, and if you have it, it's frozen on that amount. So we do not have the ability to pay that, or to raise that any further than it is now, yeah.
Could we do bonds or something to raise money? I mean, that seems like that also has a big fee to it as well.
Thank you for your comments.
Right, bonds have
I'm just
interest
saying, it
rates,
doesn't make any
and
sense to me.
bonds are good for long-term projects that you can't afford right away, but
He's got 30
our
seconds.
daily expenses covered, and we face a deficit with that right now. So this certainly doesn't say, if an EIT is implemented, that we'll never use bonds. Of course not. But we would need to demonstrate to any bond issuer, hey, we can pay for our ongoing expenses and our critical or critical services like our police without having to go into debt. And that's why we're in a good position to be able to take on debt at a low rate to finance projects.
Thank you, and we appreciate everything you guys do. Most are volunteers, Paul, you're getting paid, but seeing people attacking you is really just distasteful and should not be allowed.
Thank you for your comment. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, sorry, did you want to sum up, or are you,
Is there any additional public comment? Yeah, that's it.
sir?
How much time do I have?
3 minutes, just like everyone else.
My name's Jeff Schrader. I'm a resident of the borough. I'm a business owner in the borough. I'm also a fan of the borough. And so any comments and questions I submit tonight are done in furtherance of the betterment of Yardley Borough. I offer that I'm staunchly opposed to the imposition of an EIT. I have a litany of reasons that time constraints won't allow me to share with the council tonight. However, I am requesting a meeting with Ms. Hallett to convey those reasons in writing and through discussion so that she can meaningfully convey them to you while we still have time. I also have a point of concern. Council is hosting this discussion on the EIT at the height of the summer vacation season. The EIT, if enacted, will have a considerable and lasting, emphasis on lasting impact on the economic future of Yardley Borough. I think we're doing a disservice to our fellow citizens who are not able to participate in this discussion and who may not be able to participate in the August discussion if there is one. And I think you're losing meaningful contributions from our fellow residents. That said, I do have a couple of questions. Are we exploring the potential application to raise millage rates?
Okay, that's a question to Ms. Hallett.
Yes, we're not currently exploring that. 5 mills would give us enough revenue to avoid the deficit for maybe a year and a half, and we'd be back in the same position. So it didn't seem worthwhile.
And when was that determination made? Because I was part of the May 5th discussion here, where we posited some options, including borrowing, an application for a raise in the millage rates.
It was never formally voted on.
No, it wasn't voted on, but these were, at that introductory presentation, these are items that were discussed.
I don't think I ever said at the May 5th presentation that the council is going to pursue a court petition to raise the millage.
Where is the council today in its journey of exploration of the imposition of a EIT then? Where are we?
We are discussing it.
What does that mean, though? Where, timeline-wise, where are we?
You're asking questions, she's trying to answer.
We are having a discussion of it. That's where we are with it right now.
What's the next step after today's meeting, today's discussion regarding
Next
this?
step is another discussion in August. In September, additional discussion and a vote to advertise. And then advertising 3 times over the course of September. And then if it is voted on to advertise, then a vote on whether to enact would be the first meeting in October, which is October 6th.
Very good. Okay. So then,
Your time's up, but I will add that myself, Councilman Hallett, Jason, and others have taken the time to walk around and speak to residents. So and we're not just having a comment during the summer, as you posited. I would hope that you would see that, and that we are trying hard to make sure that the community is well informed, and that we're not rushing, nor have we made a decision because we haven't put this up for a vote. So I want to assure you that we're doing our best to do what is right and fair before any decision is made, including those things that you brought up, and thank you for those salient points that you made back in May.
Good. I appreciate your sharing that with us.
Thank you. And we're going to
Can I
quickly.
just?
Yes, you may.
Okay. One, we did purposely schedule the information session in May because we knew people would be traveling in the summer, and we didn't want to penalize anybody. And two, are you saying that you will email me a list of questions, or are you looking for me to reach out and set up an individual
No,
meeting with you?
we'll reach out to you, and we'll have if agreeable,
Who's we? Sorry.
I will.
Okay.
So Roadway.
That's fine. If
And we
my
can
email's
have-
on the website, just want to make sure you.
Arrange a meeting?
If you want to arrange a meeting, or if you want to send me a list of questions you want answers on, either of those are amenable to me.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments from the dawn? Thank you. 3 minutes, please.
Okay, there seems to be the idea that the only way to solve this problem is to either implement the EIT or somehow raise the millage. Nobody's looking at the expenses part of this, which is exactly why I am doing the right to know request, which you keep saying is costing money, but I have already discovered hundreds of thousands of dollars of wasted money. And now that you gave us the timeline, which I appreciate, now we're going to have to increase the number of right to knows so that we can get all of the data prior to you voting on the EIT. Because I think we're going to discover that we can offset all of those, any income that you bring in from the EIT can be offset by just looking at so many things. For example, you're not renting the building on 1 South Delaware. That used to be rented. That could be $36,000 a year. There's been thousands of dollars wasted on public notice mistakes from the borough manager. There's been the tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees because you are not giving the documents for the right to know request, which is why we have to fight for them. That money would not be going there if you would just stop hiding records. You even had a meeting tonight that you didn't notify people of. You're constantly having secret meetings.
Secret meetings. I'm listening.
And you're in violation of the state law. Now, if you have residents here who are retired and don't have to pay into the EIT, they're more than welcome to donate some of your money to the borough. No problem with that. And it's not name calling when you're doing constructive criticism. You have construction going on where you are literally having developers build buildings that aren't being reassessed, that aren't going through the zoning hearing board. How can you have all of those zoning permits that Manager Johnson said and not one zoning hearing? There hasn't been a zoning hearing in, I think, 2 years. How is that even possible?
No.
Well, they're not advertised then because they're not on the website because, again, you're in violation of the right to know law. So I'm sorry that your wife is appalled when I come up and make these comments, but I think it's really important that we look at the expenses because you keep saying you tighten your belts and I'm discovering monies left and right. And you keep increasing monies on things that you don't have to. So at least consider the expense part, and then you may not have to raise taxes. It's a legitimate concern. And again, I will have the data that I received from all of the right to know requests that are telling me the amounts you are spending on everything, because you are not getting the correct data. You're getting data that's being produced by a manager who's not really looking at things closely. So,
Just one question. Why don't you just share it with us instead of waiting, instead of incurring more costs to our residents?
because I don't have all of it yet. I can
have
only
enough.
get it by asking you.
Trust me.
And when I ask you, you don't turn it over. I mean,
We don't turn over the right to know request. Is
why
that
are we
true, Becky
fighting in
Johnson?
appeals court if you're turning them over? I mean, I'm more than willing to work with you to get this information, but that, I've been told.
Really, because I have office hours by appointment that you have never requested.
I
Made that public statement
have
multiple
asked-
times.
Yes.
I'll stop there.
In an office that's supposed to be the zoning and building office, which
Here's
is
what it is.
another reason
Is
why
that
we
right?
have problems with building and zoning. You took their office and you're not paying for it. You should have a lease and you should be paying for that office.
You're right. Here, I can write check now. Excuse me, Mr. Stump. I'm sorry. Your time is up, by the way. And Mr. Stump. Oh,
Do I need to introduce myself again?
I know you're Mr. Stump. Thank you.
You know, I've lived in Yardley Borough for 9 years, and for 9 years, I have listened to allegations that the Borough Council is corrupt and full of cronyism. I even served on the Borough Council that was supposedly, allegedly, corrupt and full of cronyism. And I would echo Mr. Appelbaum's statements that I would like to see hard evidence, because if there is cronyism and corruption, I don't want that in a borough where I'm paying taxes, but I'm just not seeing it. It's starting to feel like what I hear out of Washington, that in 2 weeks you'll have it. And then it's been a decade. And when does it end? And I can say from serving on Borough Council for 2 years that we did cut things from the budget several times. Personally, it cost me $900 to serve on Yardley Borough Council because I cut my own items out of the budget that I worked on. And then I went, well, shoot, I've worked on this. I'd like to bring it to fruition for the benefit of the community. So I paid for it out of my own pocket. This year we're running a deficit because of snow removal and right to know requests, but primarily snow removal, which we don't have the ability to control because the council that I was on, we cut snow removal from the budget because a few years ago it didn't snow so that we could meet our budget. And every year, I think for the past 3 or 4 years, correct me if I'm wrong, we've had to have a millage increase because even after cutting and cutting and cutting, we're still not meeting the budget. And personally, I was speaking with a borough resident today, and he said something that I thought was very profound. And this is not in any way to criticize any of our professionals or vendors or contractors with the borough, but he said, we really don't have a deficit problem in Yardley Borough. We have a problem of a lack of services. And if we had more resources, there's so many other services that other municipalities have that we could have here as well in Yardley Borough. And the last thing I'll say in closing is that, and I just looked up the statistic again to confirm it, out of about 2,600 municipalities in Pennsylvania, we are one of 150 that do not have an EIT. We are in the top 6%. 94% of municipalities in Pennsylvania have EITs. There's some boroughs out in central Pennsylvania that have a 2.5% EIT because of actual cronyism and corruption, and they had to go in and clean up messes because they eventually got exposed. So if that's happening here, I'd love to see the evidence, but I think passing an earned income tax is a normal thing. It's something that I support, and it's something that my household will have to pay it for the first time. I'll probably regret supporting it when I have to write the check, but I do appreciate this. The last thing I'll say, I do appreciate you guys removing the nuisance taxes from our borough. Thank you.
Thank you. I will ask if there's any other. What? All right. I'll have to defer to the woman in the rear. Would you please come forward?
Larissa Tulohanova, Borough resident. I'm speaking against the will of my son, who is trying to stop me from speaking. So I'm sorry, David. Oh, David.
His name is Isaac.
Regarding the office, I oppose my husband to pay rent for the office where he...
We're only talking about the EIT at the moment. If you have a comment related to that, we'll gladly listen to you.
Fine.
I'm sorry.
Regarding the EIT, I remember when we moved to this borough 18 years ago, there was a conversation at the time about EIT. So Martha, can you please clarify, there was a discussion that the school district may raise the school taxes, and if they do, the total tax that they are going to impose is going to be actually higher than if we did pay the EIT and the school tax. There was a math that was, I forgot now.
Let Ms. Hallett.
Yeah, so if Pennsbury enacts an EIT, they would take half a percent of ours. So if our EIT was at 0.5%, they would take that full 0.5%. If our EIT was at 1%, they would take 0.5% and we would have 0.5%.
Okay, so we are going to essentially lose the money if the school district does impose the EIT, and so this is definitely not going to do good for us as residents. Now, I have been working since my life that I came to this country, almost 30 years ago. I'm a professional, and I have been paying the EIT to all municipalities that I have been working. I was working in the Philadelphia city. I was working in New Jersey, which doesn't have the EIT, but still a part of my life. I was paying the taxes, full taxes, to the boroughs of those towns where I lived. So I would rather, and I express the point of view from the residents who are responsible for the money that a borough pays to other residents, or we pay. How do I say it?
To other municipalities, is that what you mean?
To other municipalities. I oppose the money that are being spent, and I really against the threats from people who are going to increase the rate of the RT, what is it, request to know, RTUs, which is going to be counterproductive. In fact, by you guys requesting more and more money, will take the money away from the projects that we actually need in this town. We need the projects for engineering projects. We need the civil projects. We need so much money that we currently don't have. So EIT, I see as a fair way as a citizen to contribute to the community. And I don't mind, and I know 100% there are people in this town who have no opposition to the EIT because they would rather pay the EIT to the town where they live every day and grow up their children, rather than paying the EIT to the municipalities where they work, and I have the connection. So, okay, so thank you very much for everything you do, and I know David Appelbaum, he's my husband, he works really hard. Very hard, and I will not allow other people to put the shade of doubt on his reputation and reputation of his colleagues, because everybody on this council is working very hard to make our lives better.
Thank you for those.
Not to corrupt,
comments.
not to take the money from us.
Ma'am, you're overextended. Thank you. Oh, I can't wait to get home. All right, thank you. Come on up a little. Kasabi. Maybe Sabi. Wasabi. Come on. No, you don't have to shake our hands. Just go to the podium. You had 3 minutes, but yes, unless you have something really nice to say about me. I'm just kidding. Just joking.
Sabe, I've lived in the community for 30 years, 10 in the borough, and we live in that obscenely overtaxed community of Yardley Walk. Obscenely overtaxed community of Yardley Walk. But I support the EIT very strongly. I've been to a number of meetings here. I have yet to hear a salient argument that explains to me why we shouldn't have it. So I just want you to know that. But I want to speak to something real quick. I was the president of the HOA up there at Yardley Walk for 3 years, and I worked with Paula for 3 years. She was extraordinary. She was a cooperative. She was competent. She did everything we needed. And let me tell you, there were some extremely difficult things we had over there. This was a new community with many problems, starting with the upper dam down into the streets and everything else. So, Paula, you were extraordinary. And I take offense of anybody who will make allegations without specifics. Anyway.
Well, wait a minute. On behalf of Paula, you still have another minute and a half.
Okay, well,
So say some more great
that's
things.
not what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted to address. I wanted to address this issue. We've heard some incredible indictments tonight, okay? Indictments, hundreds of thousands of dollars being wasted, referrals to the Attorney General. Now, what we need as individuals in this community is an educational process. How can a group of people come to this group and go on the record and accuse this group of all of these overage and all of these obviously illegal and incompetent acts without some specific way in which this is handled? Now, I want to know, I don't know with whom this has to be discussed, but what is the process? Can somebody or some group of people come with 100 or 2 of these requests? Where is the formal report? Who reviews the report? Is the report audited? To whom does the report go? To whom does this report go? And after which, who has the right to assess it? I mean, we have serious allegations that are being made tonight, in fact, indictments. And what is the process? I'm a taxpayer. What is the process by which this whole thing happens?
15 seconds. If the solicitor wishes to address this, he may.
I'll just give you a brief answer. So
Sure.
in Pennsylvania, there's a law called the Pennsylvania Right to Know law. That's a records open access law. That includes the procedures of what needs to be turned over if requested pursuant to a right to know request. So that's how these requests are coming in under that law. They're being assessed under that law and with the exemptions that are applicable under the law.
Well, at some point, perhaps we can be educated in terms of how we, as taxpayers, can evaluate that information.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
comments and compliments. Running out of people to have comments. So is there anyone else that would care to make a comment? If not, stop that. We can move on. Okay. So, if we're concluding the discussion item, I'd like to go to other business. And I believe that our mayor will be taking this. Is that correct, Mayor Thompson? Or the chief, yeah.
Resolution?
Oh, okay. Boy, was I off base. You set me straight. Now I'm really confused. Who's doing this?
I mean, I can't make a motion, but
Well, that's true.
happy to be here, though.
Okay, well, she'll be with us in spirit then. Okay.
So this is a consideration of amending our pension plan to waive employee contributions into the pension. This is a resolution that's been made annually for many years, and it's part of the negotiations of employee salaries that we do this, I believe. And that's basically it. This is something that is routinely passed.
Okay.
I second that.
Oh, so that was a motion, and we have a second to bring this resolution up for a vote. Thank you, Ms. Hallett. Thank you, Ms. Siegel-Morris. Discussion from the table about this?
Just to clarify, this is for the employee contribution. There are state and municipal contributions to the pension, so we're not waiving people's pensions, just to clarify.
Just for the police officers.
This does apply for the police officers.
Okay. All right. Was there any discussion from the table? Any discussion from the public? Please. Maybe. Oh, 3 minutes.
Okay, it's my understanding that the police received a 25% increase in their salary this year. Is that correct?
That's not across the board. It would depend on the position.
The full-time officers received a 25% increase?
I don't think it would depend on the seniority of the position. There wasn't a full 25 increase to all full-time officer.
So, Lower Makefield, Middletown, Township, everybody, I'm pretty sure they contribute. And I understand the reasoning why you were waiving the pensions before the increase in salary. And certainly, our police officers deserve all the funding they can get. But I am concerned, does that also apply to the manager's pension? Are you waiving that also?
Is this only about the police officers, Ms. Hallett?
Yes.
And that's all we're going to respond to.
And I don't know if that's accurate or not about Lower Makefield, Upper Makefield, the other municipalities that you're referencing.
Okay. Well, I am not against waiving it, but I would like to use this as an example of the tightening the belt and expenses. At some point, those are the kinds of things that you may want to look at. And again, I'm all for waiving that for their pension contribution, but these are the kinds of things that other municipalities have contributions for. So it's just something to take into consideration. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Any other comments from the public? Okay, not hearing any. I will go for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, final report of police. Oh, I know this has got to be, yes, I'm going to get.
I've never seen this before.
Okay. Call me punch drunk at this point. Okay, final report of the Police Planning Committee. Thank you in advance to the mayor, to chief, to all those involved, including formerly Corporal Clark. And I think we're making great improvements, and just wanted to say that in public.
Thank you. So yes, you have before you the final draft report of the Yardley Borough Police Planning Committee. For those of you who have never heard of this, the committee was formed in September of 24, I guess it was, or was it September of last year? September of last year, I think. And we met monthly to look at a variety of ways to continue to keep the police force independent or to explore outsourcing the police force as a cost savings measure. The committee membership listed alphabetically. Any person who served on the committee for any amount of time is listed was David Appelbaum, counsel, Sergeant Adam Clark, Police Department Representative, Ori Feiner, Counsel, and then Public at Large, Chris Harding, Mayor, Paula Johnson, Borough Manager, Rami Mahmood, Public at Large, Dan Moen, Public at Large, Kim Siegel-Morris, Counsel, Michelle Scherer, Counsel, Linda Staropoli, Auxiliary Police Representative, Caroline Thompson, Counsel, then Mayor, Rich Wayne, Public at Large, and Peter Weremanjenko, Public at Large. The report includes 8 chapters, committee scope and committee mission and scope introduction, current state of the Yardley Borough Police Department, comparative analysis of Bucks County municipal policing models, a financial evaluation, community input and public perspective, state policing, outsourcing proposals, unionized labor, and legal realities, and then our conclusions and key findings. The report is nearly 40 pages, and we hope that it is helpful to guide us into the future, but also to show the realities of current day policing for a borough in Pennsylvania. And I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Can you read the whole, no, I'm just kidding. This is just a joke. Any questions from the table for the mayor?
One thing that was highlighted in the report was how helpful the co-responder is that works with Morrisville and Lower Makefield as well. I had heard once that the county funding of the co-responder was temporary, and at some point we will need to figure out a way to fund ourselves. Is that correct?
There was talks about that. I believe for right now, we're good.
Okay.
But again, that could change at any given year as time goes on.
However, I did attend that meeting at,
Lower Bucks.
Lower Bucks
Yes, thank you for that. Yes.
And fortunately, the rumors we heard were not true, and I had a great lunch. It was all happy, so I will let
Yeah,
get back.
yeah. So the co-responder is currently grant funded through Bucks, and it could change at any time. And should it change, we don't know what that funding model would be. I think what previous chief had talked with the county about it, and they had said there might be like a price sharing model, like we have with fire services. We contribute a little bit, Lower Makefield contributes a little bit, but since that hasn't come to fruition yet, we don't know what that would look like. But it is possible in the future we would have to pay for that, and I would highly support that we do. She co-responded to 5 calls for service just this month, and is highly valuable in de-escalating situations for us.
And then will this report be made public?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to highlight, I really appreciate Chapter 3, the financial evaluation. When you look at how our police costs have risen, this report does a really good job of pointing out those categories. You know, medical cost volatility at 8 to 10% rises per year. You're going to see some pretty immense compounding over time of costs, and that's no one's fault. That wouldn't go away if we outsourced it. That's just the reality of the situation we're in. I also pointed out a lot of contingent liabilities financially. You know, when people take pensions, the utilization of medical benefits by families, unemployment, paid leave, things like that, where there's unpredictability, and we can do our best to prepare in the budget, but we need to be financially healthy enough to weather kind of those contingent liabilities. And then I will say, I really appreciate Chapter 7 as well about kind of the maybe the not initially realized costs of outsourcing and what that would cost our town. And it's not just what another town would charge us, that there are a lot of costs implicit in ending our police department that would be a huge financial strain on the borough. So.
Not to mention, we have just entered a 4-year collective bargaining agreement. I suspect that would be very difficult to...
Well, so actually our legal counsel's opinion was that it doesn't really matter at what point in the cycle you attempt to exit your unionized labor agreement. They have bargaining power at any point.
Okay.
So, would we maybe have a little bit more strength? Sure, but no, that wasn't found to be a compelling argument from a legal perspective. So, and yes, to your question, Martha, about this being published publicly, if anybody has any changes to it, please send them to me this week or next, and then we'll get it posted online. I actually have had outreach from elected officials in Morrisville and Bristol already asking for copies when it's published because they're going through these same struggles, and this just magnifies something that I've been seeing, that we need to work together as municipalities. We're all spending hundreds of hours looking at the same problems, and if we work together, maybe we might open some more doors, and sharing is caring. So yes, thank you.
Yeah, I would say one of the reasons I pushed for us to make this available was exactly for that reason, that we meaning really the group as a whole, and the way you beautifully distilled it into this piece. Why waste it? And we should be proud of what we did, because the last time this was done, I don't think the document that was created was as useful as this document could be moving forward for other municipalities. Copyright 2026, Caroline Thompson, Mayor of...
No, it was definitely a joint effort. Everyone wrote their own chapters. But yes,
Yeah.
the previous study that we did was 1.5 pages, and
look at
essentially said council does not wish to look into this. So I do feel that we did better than that.
Yeah. So thank you, and thanks for all that took part in it.
Sure.
Was there any more that you...
No, just if you would like to formally accept it. The Police Planning Committee never voted on it because we don't have voting power. We were just a recommending body. So if you'd like to officially accept it, I guess you can, or by consensus, whatever you'd like, President.
Opposed to it.
Just a question on Lower Makefield's response. Do they know that those would be made public? I don't think it's a huge deal, but I just want to confirm that.
Yes, and they've already been released through several right to knows, so.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't need to ask for any right to knows. Thank you. With that said, Mr. Solicitor,
Just do a motion to adopt the report.
okay, who would like to do that? No, the mayor cannot.
I would like.
Okay, all dependable.
I would like him to make a motion to adopt the report by the Police Planning Committee.
Thank you. Any?
Second.
Okay, didn't have to twist your arm. So thank you for your motion, Councilwoman Howard. Thank you for your second, Councilwoman Chair. Any discussion from the table? Any discussion from the public? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? Not hearing it? Passes unanimously. Congratulations. We're very proud.
Thank you.
Okay. I am going up. I think I know where we're going next, and that would be something called adjournment. Can I get a motion for adjournment? And a second, and, discussion, is there? No? Public? No? Okay, great. All those in favor?
Aye.
No nays, no abstentions. We've concluded at 9:19 PM.